No, man, I'm good. Where are you based out of? Okay, right on, man. Right on, dude. Very cool, man. Well, I'm excited to be here, man. Yes, sir. Yep. Yeah, up in the States. Yeah, do you want me to just introduce myself or however you want? Totally. Yeah, you want me to start right now? Sure. Yeah. My name's Eric Allen. I'm the founder of Eric Allen Media, and I teach people how to start, launch, and run podcasts. And I talk with people on my own podcast about their journey with Jesus, who also happen to be entrepreneurs, world changers, and success minded people. And I love working with brands, doing like how to videos, explainer videos, trainer videos, things like that. And super excited to share my story, my journey with Jesus on your podcast today. Oh, yeah, it's been a while. I've been podcasting since 2017, so it's been a while. Yeah, I think for me, it's life happens for us, not to us. And I know that Ed Milet has said that he said that, but I know that Tony Robbins is probably the person that I read that from first in his book. And so, life happens for us, not to us. I think for me, it's you're always learning. So you can come from the negative background of the bad childhood, and or you can lose your job or go through financial stress. But what is it that you're learning in that time, right? It's happening for you so that you can learn and improve, right? And so I think that's where that motto, that line comes from, or at least resonates with me. Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, it was when I had a conversation with Ed Milet. So I was blessed enough to have Ed Milet on my show, episode 12, way back in like 2019. Yeah, when I talked to him on there, and he had told me that. And I'd also heard him mention that before in his early days. When I first started connecting with him, he had less than 1 million followers on Instagram. And obviously, we've seen him blow up over the years. But I think for me, coming from the childhood that I had, coming from the background that I had, that really started to resonate with me more when I heard that. And Ed Milet said it first. That's where I first heard it, but then I read it in Tony Robbins' book, Awaken the Giant Within. And that book really was a game changer for me. But that quote, Tony Robbins says that quote in there, that was well written, like way before Ed Milet had actually said that. So for me, that was a quote that really hung around for me. And still to this day, I engraved it on a piece of wood that sits on my desk. Yeah. Yeah, I love this question, man. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a broken home, parents divorced, had to fight my mom's boyfriend when I was 13 years old. I beat him in the head with a cast iron pan. I had to break that fight up, and then spent the next 10 years of my life really wandering, I would say, the world, from, finding fulfillment in addictions and alcohol and drugs, and spent a lot of time wandering in that type of the world. I was in jail at 18. I was bankrupt at 21. battled alcoholism as I was working in the music business in my early 20s, right? And there it wasn't until a moment that I felt it was after a night of drinking and partying with my buddies. It was Easter 2004. And I woke up that morning on Easter morning. I don't think it was a coincidence that happened to be that same day. But in that moment, I felt like waking up that day and I just felt God saying, dude, you're going down a path that's going to end your life if you don't start changing some things. So in that moment, I gave my life to Jesus right then and there. And I quit cold turkey, drugs, drinking, cigarettes, everything in that moment. And it was at that moment that I knew that I had to change the environment. I was hanging around with guys that were going partying and things like that. And they're great dudes. It just wasn't a lifestyle that I could continue to go down. And so I took a break. I had to change the environment. I had to go talk with some other guys. And I found men in the church that were living the life that I wanted. They had great marriages. They had great businesses. They had great walks with Christ. And I would take them out to have coffee. This is way pre-podcast days, but essentially sitting down and asking them, like, tell me how you're living the life that you want, because that's the kind of life that I want. And so it was in those conversations that I really started to recognize and realize everything I had gone through, everything I had done. It was just teaching me how to not do those things, how not to break that, or how not to continue that on. And so it was in those conversations I realized that my past and other people's opinions of me don't define my future. And it's time for me to break the chains of divorce, abuse, rejection, and addiction and carry that no longer into my marriage and to my kids. Huge. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. When you realize or when you think that life happens to you, it's living in that victim mentality. It's pointing the finger. It's blaming people for everything that is going on in your life. Look, we all have a choice. We get to change our life no matter where we came from, what other color skin we have, wherever we're from. We can choose to change our life at any point. We just have to take action to do it. Right. And so we can decide, do we want to live this life of negativity? Do we want to live this life of continuing to go down this path that maybe isn't good for our mental health, maybe isn't good for our professional career or our relationship? Do we want to continue, or do we want to change and start to break those chains and change generations, literally change generations to come? You get to choose, man. Life is like this choose your own adventure book, right? And sometimes we're going to make bad choices and we're going to go down the wrong path. But our goal is to ultimately get back onto that right path, break the chains of negativity, break the chains of victimhood, and start living a life that impacts people for not only the now, but for future generations. Yeah. Hmm. Right. Totally. It's just different. So good, man. Yeah, it's such a good quote, man. And for me, it's just it's life changing. And Man, I would say that quote, once I heard that, it was a game changer for me, just realizing like everything that I'd gone through, it just prepared me for everything to come. And I believe that's given me mental strength, and it's given me you know, physical strength in just a new way to look at life. I lived that victim mentality for a very, very long time. About 10 years of my life, I lived that victim mentality. And once I dropped it, it was a life-changing moment for me. Yeah. Yeah. I think my wife and I, we both come from broken homes. We both come from parents who were divorced. And I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. But what I can look at it and say is I learned through watching my mom and dad exactly how not to parent my kids, exactly how not to have a marriage, right? And so I have to look at it that from that perspective. Um, and I think everything that happens in our life, there's going to be negative, there's going to be bad things, but we have to look at it from that. What am I learning in this process? Right. And if we hold on to this victim mentality, like, oh man, I'm never going to get my parents were on disability. Now I'm on disability, or my parents were on food stamps. Now I'm on food stamps, right? Like, we have to break those chains if we want to change lives. And we can't just hold that victim mentality. We've got to take that step out. We got to get uncomfortable, put ourselves in positions where we can grow, we can be stretched, and not just be constantly living in that negativity form. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, so good, man. I mean, I think people are going to look at the quote and say, "Well, life happens for me. I don't understand why would bad things happen to good people?" That's a great question, right? People are going to look at it that way. And if you don't have a faith, for me, I'm a man of faith. I love God. I have a relationship with God, and people who don't have that faith in God are going to not understand. And I still don't understand, right? That's a question that we all have to go through life. Like, why do good things happen to bad people? Right. And I think they're going to look at that quote as a negative thing. Well, why did that happen? Why was that happening to them, right? And I just think that if you have a strength and a faith in God, you can know that there's a lesson in that, and you can learn from something, right? It might not be a direct relation. Something bad happened that somebody, and what happened there, right? You never know, man. I think that people are going to look at that, and some people, if they're not like mentally strong, they're going to accept that quote as kind of a victim mentality. What do you mean life happens for me, right? What did I do wrong that caused that to happen, right? So that absolutely can throw people in, right? Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I agree, man. Absolutely. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I think that quote can change lives, or it can, I think if people look at it wrong, then most definitely they can sit in that negativity even further, right? It's all about perspective, right? You gotta. I think you can't go through life living that victim mentality. You can't go through life feeling woe is me, and I'm going to continue this addiction lifestyle that my parents did, or this lack of financial resources that my parents did, right? You've got to make that change. Hey guys, so I'm in the middle of doing an interview. Obviously, you can just hear my side. You can't hear the questions that are being asked to me. But I just wanted to say thanks for checking out and zooming in. I thought I'd give you a behind the scenes look of me doing a podcast. I actually feel like oh, here we go. Host is jumping back on. Oh, all good, man. All good. All good, dude. So yeah, happy to answer any questions or go whatever direction that you want. For sure. I mean, I think that quote is so powerful and it really relates to anywhere in life. I mean, I've been on food stamps. I've been on, Medicaid. I've been on, supplemental stuff to pay bills, right? Unemployment. I've gone through all that. I've had loss of my family, right? I've had to battle addictions. I've had to watch people that I love battle addictions, right? So you have to look at that quote, life happens for us, not to us. And what am I learning through this process? What am I supposed to learn through this process? What is someone else? What are they supposed to be learning through this process, right? It might not be just me. Maybe it's somebody that I know that's going through that. And we have to look at life going, again, I lived the negativity life for many, many years, 10 years at least of my life. Negativity, I'm the victim, woe was me. And once I flipped that switch, I realized that again, my past and other people's opinions of me don't define my future, and I can change that at any point. Yeah, I think for me, clients and customers, I want to make sure that I'm always giving them the best that I can, right? And so I'm a firm believer that everybody should launch a podcast. I think that everybody should, if you're in business at all, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're marketing or branding, like you should have a podcast because it opens up the door for so many awesome relationships. And I don't know who's listening to your show across the world, right? They might reach out to me and say, "I heard you on, this show, and I want to now work with you." And I've actually had that happen before. I was being interviewed on a podcast, and I don't know who the listener is, but somebody posted that show on YouTube, and it got 50,000 downloads, right? So you never know who's listening. And so I think when it comes to being professional, giving the customers more than what they would ever expect. Surprising them with the wow, going outside of the box of the norm and treating them with so much love and sincerity that they want to go and share. Man, you got to go check out Erik. He helped me launch this podcast, or Erik did this awesome training video for me, right? We need to be able to give such good service that they would never want to give you a negative review. I've done over 100 projects on Fiverr with working with 60 plus different brands. I have a 4.9 rating on there, and it's because I over deliver every single time. Yeah. 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 It's called the Erik Allen Show. Yep. Sure. Yeah, yeah, no problem. Hmm. I think for me, the morning routine is by far the most important thing that you can do. You have to start your day with gratitude. For me, as soon as I open my eyes, before I even get out of bed, I say, man, thank you, Jesus, for another day to see and hug and hold my family. For me, that's the most important thing. And I consider it a win. If I wake up, that's win number one. I jump out of bed, I make my bed. There's two wins. My brain is already now firing up. We're getting wins. I got two wins in 15 seconds. One, because I woke up, and number two, I made my bed like I said I was gonna. Right. And then for me, I go downstairs, I do some cardio work and get the blood flowing, right? And then I come upstairs and immediately I am in worship mode. So I'm turning on worship music. I'm in prayer. The majority of my prayer is very gratitude driven because I'm just very thankful to be alive and have the life that I have. But then once I'm done in prayer, I go and I read my Bible. And last year I started reading. I realized I hadn't read the Bible from cover to cover for a really long time. So I started reading in May of last year from back in Genesis, and I'm in the book of Job now. And I'm slowly reading through it. But I'm not only that, I read a proverb a day and I line it up with the day. So today's the 11th. I read the 11th proverb, like every single day. I do that. I had a pastor on my show say one of the things that he implemented in his life was he made a covenant with God that he would not look at social media, he wouldn't look at his phone, he wouldn't do anything until he had that time with God. And I thought, man, what a cool thing. And so for me, I don't even turn on my phone. I don't look at my phone. I don't check email, social media, anything until I've had that morning routine. I've had my quiet time with God. And I think that was a game changer for me. Once I said, all right, God, I'm putting you first before I look at my email, before I check work, before I do anything, I'm putting you first, God. And that has helped me, and it helps me a ton in the morning routines to have that set up. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, you cut out there, man. I'm sorry, I missed your question there. You cut out there for a second. Yeah, man. I think it comes down to podcasting because I think when you're podcasting and you're making these genuine relationships with people, right? Like I love podcasting just because I get to build relationships with people. And one of those conversations that I had a few years ago turned into an invitation for me to go to an event in California that I could not afford. And when it was approached to me like, "Hey, Eric, you should go to this event. It's going to be life changing." I was like, "Man, I don't have the money for that." And the guy's like, "Okay, if you can do that, if you can gather this much money in the next 2 months, and I will give you access to both events that I run for the price of that price." And sure enough, I put together the money. I flew down to California on air miles. I stayed in the cheapest, most ghetto hotel that I was warned not to, only because it was 3 miles away from the event and I was going to walk because I couldn't afford to stay. I was just going on bare money. And I knew that if I was getting asked to go to this event and it was so on my heart and they were willing to work with me on price, that I had to do it. And I went to that event. It was life changing. I met a guy there, that ultimately has become one of my great friends over the years now. And he's been on my podcast several times. I've been on his several times. And not only that, but that event introduced me to several other people, all because life happens for us. I went to that event, and yeah, it sucked. I could barely eat food. I couldn't afford to stay in the nice hotel. I sucked it up for 3 days so I could be around a bunch of awesome people. And man, that one event launched so many great relationships and gave me the confidence to do what I do today. Absolutely. Yeah. 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 Life is definitely chaotic. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Come on. Yeah. Yep. Yep. For sure. I think the small action is start with gratitude every day. Be thankful for another day to see, hug, hold your family. Be thankful for living. You, because if you have breath in your lungs and you're able to live, like you wake up, your eyes open up. That's a day that you've God's plan for you to go and make an impact, whether that's on yourself or somebody else. And one thing that's really helped me this year, I started writing 5 things down in a book that I'm grateful for every morning. So after I'm done with prayer, I take 5 minutes to write down a little book, 5 things that I'm grateful for in that moment. And it could be like, man, I'm thankful that I didn't run out of gas yesterday, or you know what, I'm thankful that we had a great baseball game yesterday, or something small. I'm thankful for a coffee and hoodies, right? Like 5 things, and I don't repeat anything over a week span. So over a week, I have to come up with 5 new things every day over 7 days. And it's quick, takes me 5 minutes to do, but it makes me think. It makes me to help me to realize, man, I'm so grateful for a roof over my head. I'm so grateful that my vehicles are running. I'm so grateful that my wife and my kids and myself, like we are all healthy, right? Like having that gratitude is massive. And I think that's one small step that your listeners can do is just acknowledge that if they open their eyes, there's a purpose and a plan on their life that still needs to be fulfilled. Yeah, 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 totally. I mean, I think that sacrifice is part of life, man. And you get to decide, are you sacrificing your time, your money, your health, right? And ultimately, what are you sacrificing it for? For me, for many years, I would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I still wake up pretty early, between 4 and 5 every day. But people are like, "Why the heck do you wake up at that early?" And for me, it's a drive to be successful for my family. So I want to be more I'd rather be successful in life with my family than for sleep, right? Like I'm okay with sleeping 6 hours a night because I know that if I wake up early, that gives me more time to start focusing on myself and focusing on helping to bring financial blessings to my family. That helps me to grow mentally, physically, spiritually, right? That morning time is good for me. And so sacrificing that little bit of sleep for me, that's been a game changer. But everything that we do, we have to sacrifice something, whether that's time, money, health, relationships, whatever it is. But you have to weigh it. Does the sacrifice, is that going to be worth you leaving whatever you're sacrificing for the ultimate goal? Like, stop with the short term hooray or satisfaction, right? What's the long term goal? And you might have to sacrifice some time and stuff like that in the short term for that long term goal that's coming. Yeah. Yeah, they could just go check out erikallenmedia.com. It's ERIKALLEN media.com. And my podcast is on there, my resources for podcast people. I've got some, offers on there. I've got some free stuff on there. My courses are on there. Some suggestions and things that will help people in the podcast world and mental space. I also list all of the books that I have read over the years. And I'm constantly updating that with new books of things that I would suggest. Hey, check out this book, right? This has helped me. So I like to put that stuff on there too. So there's a lot of book suggestions on there that you guys can go check out as well. But Erik Allen Media on there. I'm pretty active on Instagram and YouTube are my two platforms that I'm probably the most active on. Totally. I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. Well, it's an honor to be on your show, man. I appreciate it. And just let me know whenever you decide to drop the episode, and I'll happily share it out with my network. Sure. Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. Absolutely, man. It's a little after 1 o'clock Pacific time. So yeah, 1 o'clock in the afternoon right here. But I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. All right, have a good day, man. We'll talk soon. Yep. Awesome, man. Well, have a good one. We'll talk soon. Mhm. Yep. Bye bye. Hey guys, thanks for checking it out. Again, that was just a podcast that I was on. Um, I was the guest, so obviously you just heard my side. This is a one-way video, but man, I appreciate you checking it out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Catch my videos every day. I drop a podcast every Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific, a motivational video every day, and then I do a live reading of My Utmost for His Highest book every single day. And so, would love the support. Go out and share this. Thank you so much, and have an awesome day. And there are some questions in here about how to advice, like get around people that are living the life that you want, but are also have the same values as you, right? So that's super important. They might have all the money in the world, but they don't have the same values and morals that you do. So make sure that you surround yourself with the right company, and just being in their presence will lift you up and give you confidence to do better. So keep changing the world. Have an awesome day.